What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Thursday, June 17th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, we have an 8-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. I like Rich Hill with a 23% pitching advantage over a low salary batting team, the Seattle Mariners. Rich Hill is only giving up a .449 OPS versus lefties and a .562 OPS versus righties. He's facing he's facing 5 lefties and 4 righties. He's not facing any switch hitters here tonight, and that's his weak pitch. And on top of that, the Mariners have only hit 2 of his last 14 pitches. That's a 143 batting average. Now, that's a small sample size, but I like the splits. And Rich Hill is only $8,300 FanDuel salary, and he's $900 more on DraftKings. He's projected at 27.7 fantasy points here tonight. He has an ERA of 3.38. Record is 5-2 on the season, pitching an average of 75 pitches per game. He's averaging 29 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 17, 30, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Rich Hill here versus the Seattle Mariners. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Ji-Man Choi with a 51% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Justin Dunn. Ji-Man Choi is batting 11% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .827 OPS versus righties. And Justin Dunn throws his worst ball by far to switch hitters, 40% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.117 OPS versus switch hitters. There's no at-bats versus Dunn yet, and Ji-Man Choi is $3,100 FanDuel salary and $800 more on DraftKings. Projected at 10.4 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 0, 3, and 6 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So he's got a great matchup here. I think he's due for a big game here. So I like Ji-Man Choi here versus Justin Dunn. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Ozzie Albies with a 46% batting advantage over John Gant. Ozzie Albies is batting 7% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .785 OPS versus righties. And John Gant throws his worst ball versus switch hitters, 39% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .832 OPS versus switch hitters. Now, Ozzie Albies is 1 for 5, batting 200 with a .400 OPS versus Gant, and he's $3,200 FanDuel salary and $1,000 more on DraftKings. Projected at 10.5 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 0, 3, and 3 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I also think Ozzie Albies is due for a good game versus Gant. So I like Ozzie Albies here versus John Gant.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Joey Wendell with a 56% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Justin Dunn. Joey Wendell is batting 35% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .874 OPS versus righties. And Justin Dunn, he throws 21% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .747 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Dunn yet, and Joey Wendell is $3,200 FanDuel salary and $1,000 more on DraftKings. Projected at 10.2 fantasy points here tonight. He's averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 9, 0, and 6 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Joey Wendell here versus Justin Dunn. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I'm going to give you a value play here. I like Jose Iglesias with a small batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Matt Manning. Jose Iglesias, he bats a little bit better versus righty pitchers, batting a .824 OPS versus righties. We're still waiting for stats to come in from Matt Manning. There's no at-bats versus Manning yet. And Jose Iglesias is only $2,700 FanDuel salary. He's $1,000 more on DraftKings. Projected at 9.1 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 6, 0, and 15 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Jose Iglesias here versus Matt Manning. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Austin Meadows with a 66% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Justin Dunn. Austin Meadows is batting 45% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .858 OPS versus righties. And we know Justin Dunn is giving up a .747 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Dunn yet, and Austin Meadows is $3,600 FanDuel salary and $1,700 more on DraftKings. He's projected at 9.7 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 3, 6, and 22 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Austin Meadows here versus Justin Dunn.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.